Hey everyone, welcome to my new YouTube channel. My name is Nick Weiss and I am a huge film buff. I go and see just about everything that comes out nowadays, small films, big films, all of the films, and I have an opinion on all of those films. Actually, I have an opinion on just about everything. And I made this channel because I want to share those opinions with you, but I also want to hear back from you guys. I want to hear back comments, any kind of feedback. I haven't quite figured out the exact structure of this channel yet. I know I want to do pretty constant movie reviews, features, trailer reactions, basically anything related to all of the nerdy pop culture stuff that I'm interested in and I think you should be as well. For this first video I'm making, I am looking ahead to the rest of 2017 and all of the films we have coming out in these last 6 months. So I've created this list of my 10 most anticipated movies for the rest of the year. One quick note before I start though, Spider-Man Homecoming. I've already seen it. As I'm filming this video, we're about almost halfway through July, so it's already out. I've seen it, I'm sure most of you have, and it's great. Obviously, if I was filming this in the beginning of July, it would rank pretty high on my list, but I have already seen it. So by taking it off my list, I've made room for a smaller film that I want to showcase that maybe some of you guys wouldn't go see without a recommendation. So starting with that film that I was able to add, my number 10 spot is a film called A Ghost Story. It's the new film by David Lowery, who some of you should know from last year directing Pete's Dragon. But his film that really got him famous a few years back, well, famous in like quotes, was Ain't Nobody Saint, starring Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, and this is his reuniting with those actors. It stars Casey Affleck as a man who, spoilers, but not really, he dies, and he spends the entirety of the film with this like really janky Halloween costume, this white sheet over his head with the eye holes cut out, like what you would make in your bedroom when you were 6, right? And then your mom yells at you because you messed up your bed sheets. And he's married to Rooney Mara's character, and the film just kind of deals with, from what I understand, their separation and just him dealing with being a specter and being lost in time and kind of trying to find his place again, or just kind of accepting not having a place in the world anymore. It sounds like that small, interesting indie film that is going to catch a lot of people off guard. And if it's playing in the theater near you, you definitely should go see it. And coming at number 9, we have the new Pixar film, Coco. It's based on the whole Day of the Dead holiday in Mexico. And it's got this very colorful aesthetic and this story that is about history and ancestors and remembering your place in the world. It's this young boy who has this musical idol, and he goes to a museum and steals the instrument that used to belong to his idol. And somehow by doing that, he ends up in the afterlife, and he meets his ancestors who have been dead for who knows how long, and he gets to meet these people that, whether he knows it or not, have had an effect on his life. It's gonna have that Pixar humor, and it's gonna have that Pixar heart, and it's that combination that has made them such a winning studio. Just forget about Cars 2 and Monsters Incorporated and Brave. But remember the Toy Story trilogy. Anyways, number 8 is a musical I'm looking forward to, not coming out to the very end of the year. I think it's getting a limited release on Christmas and then it'll go wider. It's called The Greatest Showman. Hugh Jackman is fresh off his role as Wolverine in his final appearance, Logan. But we all know he has those dancing musical chops, and he's gonna get a chance to show them off here in this biopic about P.T. Barnum. At first, I was a little disturbed. I heard they were making this lighthearted movie about P.T. Barnum's life, because I'll tell you right now, give him a Google. He maybe wasn't the most nicest guy. But I watched the trailer, and I saw the all-star cast and the beautiful music, and it won me over, and right now, I can't be more excited. La La Land was one of my favorite films last year, and I'm really craving another original movie musical to win me over and get me to go back to the theater to watch it again and again, and I think this might be it. Number 7, one of my favorite directors, and whenever he makes a film, it's a landmark, it's a thing that everyone needs to go to the see in the theater. And that is Guillermo del Toro, and his new film is called The Shape of Water. It's this deaf woman who's working at this laboratory, and she comes across and is probably gonna fall in love with this humanoid amphibian creature who's played by one of Guillermo del Toro's go-to actors who always plays those types. He played Abe in Hellboy. He played two of the creatures in Pan's Labyrinth. He played the creepy one that has like the eyes on his hands. Yeah. But the thing that makes Guillermo del Toro's film stand out so much is the art direction and the way he stages every shot to be this portrait, this painting. I stand by this. Every frame in a Del Toro movie has at least one shot that you could hang on your wall and neighbors will come over and be like, wow, where'd you buy that? This is another film that doesn't have a release date quite yet, I don't think. I know it's in December, but when it comes out, rush out and see it. My next film premiered at Sundance to huge raves, and the fact that we're still talking about it 6 months later, when it still isn't even out in theaters yet, just shows how much we're all looking forward to it. And that is a film called Call Me By Your Name. It's an LGBT romance between the son of this wealthy individual and someone who works on the property played by Armie Hammer, who you would know from The Social Network, or, what was he in? I don't know, a couple of movies. But now you're gonna know him from this, because raves about his performances, raves about all the performances in this movie. Michael Stuhlbarg, who just killed it in the 3rd season of Fargo, plays the wealthy father. This is a film that's gonna sell itself just based on its artistic strength and on the emotion. The pure emotion you're gonna feel watching this film is gonna be worth the ticket. Now we're in the top 5, and God, I am so excited for this next movie. I am seeing it twice next week. I'm seeing it early on Monday, and then right when it comes out in theaters, I'm taking me and my good friend to go see it in IMAX 70mm. I cannot be more excited for this film. It is Dunkirk by Christopher Nolan. Nolan. I'm saying his name 3 times because I know that every time someone does, someone out there has a shattering nerdgasm. So the 3 of you out there, you're welcome. But aside from that, there's no bats this time. There's no twisting Inception cities and spinning tops. There's no magic. This is a grounded war film. It's based on the true story from 1940 when British civilian boats had to go pick up and rescue soldiers that were trapped on the beaches of Dunkirk, and they were being attacked from air, land, sea by German forces. And that is the route this film is taking. 3 different perspectives. What Nolan is saying is he wants this film to be like VR without the headset. He wants the film to encompass the audience. He wants us to be there in the seat of that boat, in the seat of that airplane, sitting there on the beach next to Harry Styles and his beautiful flowing hair. Just watch out, Nolan, because if you kill Harry Styles, you might get a few angry letters or something. Number 4 is a film that I'm not going to talk about a lot because we don't really know much about it, but we know we should be excited because it's the next film by P.T. Anderson. It's called The Phantom Thread. It's also supposedly the last film by Daniel Day-Lewis before he retires from acting forever, which we've heard him say that before, but let's just go with it so we can have another reason to be excited for this because it looks awesome. There's only been a few leaked screenshots of Daniel Day-Lewis walking solemnly through a park, but we know it's about him in the 1950s, I think, and he's playing a dressmaker. Again, not a whole lot of details on this one, but P.T. Anderson makes masterpiece after masterpiece after masterpiece. You have Boogie Nights, you have Magnolia, you have The Master, you have Inherent Vice, again and again and again. And not to mention his best film, There Will Be Blood, which is one of my favorites of all time. Any P.T. Anderson release is something to look forward to, so it goes without saying. Now my top 3 are all those big budget films that I'm sure you guys are already excited for, but I'm just here to confirm your excitement. Number 3 is Thor Ragnarok. Marvel Studios are on a roll this year. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was pretty good. Spider-Man Homecoming, awesome, amazing film. And to be honest, I have not been that big of a fan of the Thor movies. The first 2 were kind of meh. He's the least interesting Avenger, let's be honest. But from that first trailer, I am totally sold. Taika Waititi, I'm sorry I messed up your name probably, is a great comedic talent. He did What We Did in the Shadows. He did Hunt for the Wilderpeople. He's a small director, but he's coming up in the big games now with Thor. And he really gets the heart of this version of the character. Thor's not stupid, but he's kind of socially inept. He doesn't know what's going on sometimes. And this film is going to hit that in stride. You've got Cate Blanchett for the guys. You've got Chris Hemsworth for the girls. You've got Tom Hiddleston for the girls. To be honest, those last two are pretty beautiful too, I can admit. Marvel's on a roll leading up to Infinity War next summer, and you just know that this is gonna be the next step on that journey, and it's gonna be great. At number 2, you have a film that people have been waiting more than 30 years for. We are finally getting a sequel to Blade Runner. It's called Blade Runner 2049, and it's starring my boy Ryan Gosling. He may not be the single most talented actor working today, but he's that actor where, oh shit, that film has Ryan Gosling in it? I'm checking that out. They're also bringing back Harrison Ford, who is getting pretty old, but he played Deckard in the original, so they're gonna have to play him into this one somehow. I really hope they don't try to rely too much on the original, because the original was groundbreaking, and this one has the opportunity to also be groundbreaking in its own way, but not by following completely in the path of the original. Do an ode to the original, but also pave your own path. Be a great movie in your own right, and I have faith that it's gonna do that thanks to director, I'm butchering these names today, Denis Villeneuve? He's one of my favorite directors working today. He did Arrival, he did Prisoners, he did Sicario. Oh my God, Sicario was so good. He proved himself in sci-fi last year, and now he's gonna move into a sequel to a genre classic this year, and hopefully he's gonna kill it. The only thing that could kill it in a bad way is Jared Leto and his overacting, but yeah, we saw how that went last year. But have faith, guys. And now my number 1 is pretty obvious, right? Star Wars The Last Jedi. Star Wars Episode 8 is finally coming out this December. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I think the original trilogy is a little overrated. I know it's gonna turn some people off. I also hate the prequels too, so okay, we're on the same page there. But I will say that watching Force Awakens, which I think was one of the most exciting and fun films in 2015, it made me fall in love with the older films more, and made me appreciate them more and see little nuances I didn't see the first time I watched them a few years back. And I'm expecting the same from Episode 8. And I expect it to be even better because we have Rian Johnson, a fantastic director. You might know him from Looper. You might know him from that last episode of Breaking Bad, or one of the last ones where shit starts going down. He's here directing, and you can see from that first teaser trailer that it's his style, and it's the traditional Star Wars style, and it's meshes together perfectly, and it's going to be a beautiful film. It's going to be that emotional, darker second installment that we all want, and hopefully it'll be so much more, and we hopefully will get the answers we've been looking for, especially after Force Awakens kind of left out some of the bigger ones. Who's Rey's father, J.J. Abrams? And that's my first video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you feel like it, like the video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. I'll post more stuff on there too. I'm gonna have some more technical improvements along the way and different kinds of content along the way. So look forward to that. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll see you later.